Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host. Oh, so official. I'm your host, Samantha, or you can call me Sam. Just don't call me Sammy. How did you like the new opening jingle? I had to change it up. I just wasn't feeling the other one. And that's kind of scary to change that, right? Because we're creating the brand. And I feel like changing the opening song, that's like changing your preset on Instagram. Like, it's a risky move. Like, if you're going to change it, you got to commit to it. But I like where I've ended up now. I think it's a little more energetic, lively, fits me a little bit better. So we're fine tuning, right? 1% better every single day. That's the goal. That's my goal here. Just 1% better and a little bit more confident too every time we show up. When we show up with more confidence, it gets better, 1% better every day and a little bit more confident each time we do it. That's how we get better. My daughter, actually, she had a skate party last night with her school, and I was so impressed by her level of confidence. And when you step out onto the rink, and when she stepped out on the rink for the first time, a couple months ago, she was real shaky because she lacked that confidence. And so she fell down a lot, but she really showed up last night with so much confidence. And it's interesting because when you gain that confidence, I noticed that when she gained that confidence, she was skating so much better and so much more fluid. And she really looked great out there. But that's how it works, you gain the confidence, you execute better. But that's not what this is about today. That was just a little tidbit for your day, little 1% each day, a little more confident each day. But that's not what this is about. I wanted to share some stories with you today. So, my job as a senior master instructor for CycleBar, I watch trainees and candidates, incoming instructors. They demo and they ride their bikes, and I watch it on my computer and I provide feedback. That's what we do. We train virtually. And I was watching one of my trainees the other day, and she was sharing this story about timing and the power of timing. And she had shared that, she'd graduated college. She had this vision for her future and what she wanted to do. And she applied for her dream job. She described it. And she applied for the job in January. And then February passed, March passed, and she got into April, and she had not heard back from that job. So she started to kind of write it off, like, now is not the time. It's not going to work out for me. So she pursued another position somewhere else, a job that was going to be okay, not the dream job, but okay. And she got offered that position, but right before she responded to take the job, she got a call from the original company that she applied with, and they offered her the dream job, the dream position that she wanted. Timing, right before she said yes to something else. And so she was talking about the power of timing. And I relate to that so much. I'm a huge believer in timing and when timing hits and when it's going to be the right moment. I personally am a believer in God, and that's where I believe timing and what is right when it's right happens for me. But whether or not that's your jam, that's what you believe in, because you can have any beliefs that you choose, I still think there's something to say about timing and when things line up and when they happen. I want to share a couple stories where timing really was pretty incredible in how it played out in my life, and really what led me to believe that we have to trust when things are supposed to happen for us, as hard as that may be from time to time. So I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and spent time here. I went to college just outside of Dayton. And after college, I moved to St. Petersburg, Florida. I moved down there with a boyfriend. Okay. But I convinced my girlfriend to move down with us too. And so we had a good old time. But unfortunately, because, sometimes guys are dogs, not all of them, but sometimes they are. He ended up cheating on me. Okay. But that ended up happening. And so I had another girlfriend in town. She was visiting from Dayton, Ohio. And she was in town, and I said, you know what? I need to go out. I am ready to meet some new men. Like, let's go do something. And she said, I know some guys who are in town, and they're in town from Dayton, actually, if we want to go meet up with them. I was like, let's do it. So we're in St. Petersburg, Florida. We're out at a beach bar, and in walks this group of guys, good looking group of guys, but there was one that really stood out to me. And I texted my friend. I was like, oh, that's the one for me. And she said, well, his name is Joe. Okay, Joe. Oh, Joe. So Joe came up to me. He started talking to me. I really appreciated that he had some genuine interest in me. And so we really hit it off. And Joe is now my husband. So that's how that ended up. But what's really interesting about this story is Joe and I ended up doing a long distance relationship. It really took us about 1.5 years to build our relationship. He was still living in Dayton, Ohio. I was living in St. Petersburg, Florida. And so as things turned out, I ended up moving and coming back to Dayton so I could be with him, so we could be together and we could start to settle down back here in the Midwest, because Midwest does it best. And once we kind of moved in together and we were settled, I had activated an old Facebook account. And I was going through some old pictures. I stopped on this picture, and sure enough, Joe is standing right behind me in a picture that was taken 5 years prior to when we met. He was in the background of one of my pictures. If I had met Joe the day that photo was taken, I know for a fact we would not be together. The timing would not have been right. I was still very much in college. I was still very much living that wild party girl life, doing my thing, single ladies. I just know the timing would not have been right. But he was there. He was kind of always in my orbit, right? But timing was important with that. And it's one of the greatest stories ever. I truly believe that I have the photo proof of Joe photobombing, actually, not just standing in the background, but ruining it, making some crazy face behind me and my girls. So pretty funny. I guess Joe has always kind of been there, destined to be together, to meet. That's where I call to my higher power here. But the timing was really important as far as when we met. The timing and the story continues because when I was living in Florida, man, I was living the party girl life. Oh, I was living the party girl life. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. But it was time to kind of settle down. And there was one particular night that was a little bit rough. And Rob Dyrdek, I don't know if you're probably very familiar with Rob Dyrdek. He has this saying about post-party depression. It's the day you wake up after partying and you've got regrets and you're kind of depressed because you're coming down off, drinking or whatever. And post-party depression is a real thing. And I had a pretty wild night. And I woke up the next day really just kind of what are we doing, Samantha? Is this the path you want to continue on, or are you ready to start to settle down and do something with your life? You got this great guy back in Ohio. Florida is fun. Ooh, it's fun. It's wild. It's fun. But it's time to start to decide what it is that you really want and what's really important to you. You can have these crazy one-night deals, or you can start to build a life. So I decided I wanted to go home. I wanted to be back in Ohio. But I was living in Florida. I was in a lease. I didn't have a job in Ohio. So it takes time. It takes time to move to another state. You got to get a job. You got to get a place. What does this all look like? And so I started to make the moves. And I kid you not, within 1 week, my landlord in Florida allowed me and my roommate to get out of our lease. I got a job in Ohio because you never burn bridges, baby. I had a connection from a previous job that I had before I moved. They took me back. Never burn bridges. I had a job, and Joe and I found an apartment together. Within 1 week, my bags were packed, and the universe, God, whatever it was, opened up that door so wide and said, you got to go. Now is the time. And it wasn't even hard. It wasn't hard. And I think that that's a big indicator of when the time is right, it doesn't feel like a struggle. The doors seem to open. But that also means that sometimes with timing, doors are closed and it feels wrong and it feels like a struggle and a fight. And we're asking, when is it going to happen? How does this end up? I'm ready. I want the time to be now. But sometimes the time is not up to us. But when it's right. And all the doors open. We learn to trust timing a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean that if you've got goals and you've got dreams and you've got aspirations that you get to just lay on the couch and decide when it's going to happen for me. The universe is just going to make it happen for me. Like, you still have to pursue, right? You still have to take action to get to reach your goals, to make the changes you want in your life. But I do believe if you feel like you're hitting a wall and a roadblock, that we can trust the moment a little bit more and we can have patience. Patience. That's the hardest piece of any journey, goal, destination, is the patience piece, right? When the timing is right, it will happen for you. We also can't deny when there's an opportunity and we need to strike and we have to take it, right? We have to take the action too. That kind of goes back to episode 1. Like, you got to try, you got to be willing to do new things. And if an opportunity comes up, we take it, we go after it, especially if it feels right or we feel a pull or a draw to do that. So we trust a little bit more. I think we have to trust timing and the doors that open and trust the doors that close. Trust the doors that close as well, because there's something better waiting for you. I believe that fully in my heart, that life will take you on a journey to where you are supposed to be. And that may mean doors are closing. That may mean that you are headed down a path that you did not expect. That may mean a struggle, a fight, a challenge in your life that you may not understand why you have to face it, why you have to overcome, but there's something to take from it, and there's a reason and the timing behind it. And we always say, right, hindsight 2020, baby. Look back, what did we learn from that lesson, right? Even through the challenges and the struggles, what did we learn from that? You can always learn something from the challenges that we face in life, and the timing and why things happen when they do. I just think is really fascinating to reflect on. So maybe you are working toward a job and you haven't heard back, or maybe you're ready to make a move and your house is not selling. That's not true. Houses are selling like hot right now. But maybe you're looking to move and make a change and it just feels like it's not happening. Let's trust timing with this. Or maybe there's an opportunity on the table or a calling and a push and a pull. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. The time is now. Don't hesitate, because when the door opens, you got to take that opportunity. You got to go. You got to try new things, right? We still on that one? Trust timing, baby. Thank you guys for listening. Episode 2, we are trusting timing. I'm really excited. I'm going to have some special guests coming up on some upcoming episodes. Hint, hint, it's my mom and then my dad. But very smart people with a lot to offer and a lot to share. And so I'm super stoked to have them on as my first guest ever. Onward and upward, baby. 1% better every single day. Don't forget it. Have a great day. You deserve it.